Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Saints Gaming CA stream here. Of course, your home for the St. Clair Saints varsity sports team, as we're here for the PlayVS Rocket League season finale. Of course, Week 7 action here between St. Clair College and the University of Florida, the first matchup, and it's supposed to be an awesome doubleheader. My name is Dan Banner, also known as Mr. Danners. Joined alongside me, we have Jackson Brown. How are you doing, Jackson?
I am doing great, Danners. You know, we are nearing the end of the season for the Play versus Rocket League, sorry. But we're nearing the end of the season, and that's a big statement considering only the top 32 teams out of the roughly 240 teams in this Play versus League are making playoffs. So there's really not a whole lot of teams that actually get the opportunity to go to playoffs, and we are in a good position to try to make a run for it. Like I was saying, top 32, we're 63rd right now. These matches are going to be absolutely crucial to our seeding tonight.
And it's funny that you kind of mentioned that. It's like, oh, it's only the top 32 that make it into the playoff bracket, and we're 60, what did you say, 63rd, and and we have a shot. Because it sounds really weird, like, okay, wait a minute, 32, 63 doesn't make any sense, but we've seen how volatile your position, your rank can be week after week. And I know specifically here for the Saints, I believe last week they were hovering around the 40 mark, and then they got defeated in both of their previous matchups and completely dropped rather significantly. But of course, it can be brought back just as quickly. And of course, the scary thing here with the Saints as well, due to this Swiss format, the University of Florida and then our second matchup tonight, Purdue University, are both in the exact same position. If Saints, Purdue, or the University of Florida want to have an opportunity to get themselves into that top 32, they really need to win both their matches tonight.
Yeah, for sure. Like, it's absolutely crucial. But to be completely honest, at the same time, one win tonight can jump, each win can jump them about 15 rankings. That's crazy. So a 2-0 night from the Saints could jump them up to the top 32 right away, like tonight. Which is, how are you, like you were saying, with the 63rd being so, oh yeah, that's so low ranked. But you also got to factor in, there's 240 teams in this league, top 32 is only a small percentile of that. It's what is that? Like 10-15% of teams are actually making those playoffs?
It's definitely nice compared to some of the leagues that we've had in the past where it's like, you know what? Everybody makes playoffs, which, to be fair, though, with 200 and something teams, that would have been an absolute disaster. So I'm kind of glad that...
It's like children's football.
Yeah, exactly. But with PlayVS, they definitely cut that down considerably. Like you're saying, 32 in some leagues is absolutely huge in regards to how many teams can play in the playoffs. But PlayVS, just with so many teams, 200 and some odd, it's unfeasible for that kind of situation to happen. So it's going to be interesting nonetheless here. Oh, I just bonked her. Whoopsie. Emergency soother pass. But anyway, lost my train of thought here, unfortunately. But
back on track. It's Play versus Rocket League Week 7, and these are crucial matches, everyone.
Yes, absolutely. Unfortunately, had Dad Brain giving me a bit of spaghetti. But anyway, to get back on track here, why don't we take a look at some of these past scores here for both of our competitors here tonight. Starting off with the hometown squad for St. Clair. First off, last week, we did, unfortunately, like I was saying before, we lost both of our matches. The University of New Haven took us down 3-0 fashion. That being said, though, that score does not do that match justice. That was actually an extremely close series. Any of those games could have gone either way. I think one to two
overtimes. I think there was 2 overtimes.
Yeah, I do believe you're correct about that as well. Yeah, just extremely close, but unfortunately, Saints not going to find themselves on the right side of that one. And then RIT, yet another close series, but unfortunately, Saints not able to take it in Game 5 after bringing it back.
Game 5 overtime.
Yeah, because I believe they went down Game 1, Game 2. They managed to somehow fight this one back, but could not clutch it out, unfortunately.
But third game ago, St. Clair College were able to take down that Humber squad, and that's a pretty promising win there with the 3-1 game record on that one. So very good stuff there from the Saints. We need to see that kind of action brought back here. And with the Saints losing their last 2 matches, they are going up against some, I wouldn't say they're very still strong teams, but I wouldn't say they are maybe as strong as New Haven and RIT. That's one of the big things I'd like to touch on because, these were, 40 seed ranked matches, whatever it may be, but we're down now to what is it, like 65 or whatever it is.
Mm.
So these are a little bit more easy compared to what our last ones were. I'm not saying, easy at all, but 7-5 were the records for the teams we played last time around. But now at what is it? I think I don't know, it's something like that. Completely forget the record was last week, but I just know that we are a few rankings down now, and it's going to enable us to get some more matchups more in our favor.
Absolutely. It was definitely a little bit odd because we did put ourselves in such a solid position going in towards playoffs. I think we would have been sitting like 7-3 or something last week, and that would have put us into playoffs like pretty close to without question. I believe we were up in the 40s last time when that was the case. Yeah, going down, at least now, like you were saying, we don't have to go up against like a top 32 team, for example, right here in our final matches. So this University of Florida and then Purdue University team later on tonight should be, in theory, more tolerable, but at the same time, I know they're fighting just as hard as we are. And in fact, speaking of our opponents, University of Florida, let's take a look at some of their past matchups. It looks like they have a couple familiar faces here as they're able to actually take down Shenandoah University, who we've had to compete against earlier in the season. They took care of them in 3-0 fashion. University of Waterloo, though, that is definitely an extremely tough squad. I do not blame them for falling 3-0 to them. And they do take the win over West Virginia University as well. So a bit of a mixed bag here.
Yeah, pretty funny actually about that, those past 3 matches from U of Florida is the fact that the closest game was a 3-1. Which, I mean, like, it's kind of crazy. Like, out of 3 games, you're telling me 2 were 3-0s and 1 was a 3-1. Like, it seems as if almost University of Florida really kind of balls out and is huge and gets that huge win, or they kind of struggle a little bit. And so it's going to be really interesting to see what kind of squad from University of Florida that we actually do see tonight.
Absolutely, as long as they actually show up, right? That's always the big part here, which is a bit of the problem that we're having as of this moment, of course. This game was supposed to start at 8 o'clock, and unfortunately, we have no word here from University of Florida, so we're on a bit of a pause for at least the moment to try and see if they do end up catching back up here with us. Of course, they have a couple more minutes to get themselves into the game. But regardless, here we do have another matchup later on tonight, worst case scenario. And to be fair, considering we have to win both of our matchups tonight, being able to take a 3-0 just by default would put Saints in a pretty solid position. Not the way we want it done, but it would put them in a good position at least.
Yeah, for sure. No doubt there in my mind. And, that 3-0, like, it just comes down to all you have to do if you're Florida is kind of show up, right? But, sometimes that isn't always possible. So, could be a little tough on the side of U of Florida tonight if this match does not get played. But we are in for a doubleheader either way. So, we will see some sort of I was going to say CSGO.
We can tell where your brain is.
yeah. We're going to see some sort of Rocket League tonight, right? And that's the big thing. These double headers from PlayVS set up very nicely because, Rocket League doesn't take a whole lot of time. So to have double headers nights, it's pretty great. So I believe this U of Florida squad has about 6 minutes to kind of make an appearance of somewhat.
Yeah, about
to try. 15. Yeah. So it's going to be interesting to see if we can play. But just as you're saying, a 3-0 would be huge because not only does the win help us out, but it's that map record. That map record is huge. And we have a fairly good map record right now because our losses are still our losses are game 5 losses,
right.
Game 4 losses, right? Rather than 3-0s. So our map record, personally, pretty solid compared to our record, which that's what puts us ahead of a lot of these teams right now that we're playing even tonight. It's just like if you look at the teams that are 7-5, we're kind of in the upper pack of the 7-5 teams.
Yeah, it's always good the fact that even if they are going down, they're going down swinging and keeping themselves in the game, and that's kind of the negative for having a team similar to how University of Florida was, at least in their last couple games, where it was either you went big or you went home. You either got the 3-0 or the 3-1, or you got 0-3'd, and that is a rough situation to kind of put yourself in, as long as those 0-3s aren't necessarily forfeits either, because you're just kind of shooting yourself in the foot at that point. Yeah, we are still kind of on pause here, but while we are awaiting, I know this is technically for the next match coming up, but why don't we have ourselves a quick little sneak peek for our Purdue University squad that we're going up against later on tonight, since we're kind of stuck waiting for the moment, but we're going to take a look and see who they played actually in the last couple of weeks, and they've had themselves a heck of a run here. They started off, I was taking a look at their entire season, to be fair, and they started off okay. They won like both their games in week 1, but then they went on a rough loss streak of 4 games, I believe, in a row, and then they won 1, lost 1, and then as we see here, they have been on an absolute tear over the last couple of games, taking down Virginia Tech in convincing fashion. They also had to play Humber College, similar to us, a much closer match in that regard, but Purdue pulls it off nonetheless. And then Auburn University, we haven't seen them in action personally, but they're still able to give yet another fantastic showing there with another 3-2 matchup. So
this is actually like this is really interesting as you're bringing this up. It's very something that we can actually touch on because Purdue that really those win streaks, those lose streaks really show a kind of like team's morale and their momentum in the matchup at hand, right? Because you can be in a little bit of a slump and you can just as a team, not even just as a player or whatever, as a team, the chemistry might not be there. It's similar to what happened to St. Clair last week, losing both of those games, rough bounce, and they're really looking to bounce back this week. Where Purdue, they've been on their hot streak, and that's kind of scary for the Saints because that hot streak, it's probably going to keep carrying on until they kind of get that morale, the momentum kind of shot down a little bit.
Absolutely, and the Saints have to do that right here, right now, when they do play them later on tonight at 9:15. Otherwise, it could be the make or break, considering we are fighting for the last couple positions in that 32 player or 32 team double elimination playoff bracket, which does take place next week. We want to be a part of it, and they're going to have to fight for it.
Yeah, we want to be a part of it. Like, it would be a pretty good time.
Which is just, well, just to take a side note here, it just goes to show the level of competition that we've been having here in PlayVS. Like, we've seen, like, not the rag on any leagues, but, like, I'll give credit to NECC. That was actually some pretty solid matches, or I should say, with it being the groups and being so small, like we're so used to small leagues, right? Where, say, NECC, for example, it was a 7-group league where it's like, okay, we're either going up against somebody who's CRL in Durham, or it's probably like a
it's
3-0 for us, you know what I mean?
Yeah, it's good that NECC had that in place, though, because at the end of the day, if there was no divisions, it would be even worse.
Oh, yeah.
It would be much, much more worse because, they don't have that, same record style format where you play someone with the same record as you like to play versus has right now. So the groups is kind of what determines your skill level. So to have all them in the champions division, right, and having to go play Durham, whatever, the really strong squad over there, it just really shows to how these leagues are. I'd say Rocket League is a fairly good run league, right, and I mean, it's not like I'm not even just saying PlayVS specifically or NECC. It's just anybody who is running collegiate Rocket League. It's typically worked out fairly well in their favor because I kind of feel like Rocket League is a pretty good league style to like kind of work with, and the community is great. It really makes things really workable.
It's nice that like it's a little bit more traditional in the sense of course, even just having 3 people, it's way easier to organize 3 people compared to like 5 or 6, depending on the game that you're playing. But again, it just goes to show a level of competition here in PlayVS, for example, where we have so many teams, and yet they're letting in 32 for the playoffs, and that still seems like such a tough task compared to what the Saints are used to. And this is a solid Saints squad. Do not get me wrong, of course. Kamal's constantly been like that extra shot caller of sorts on the defensive line. Endeavor, he has his moments of absolutely popping off and it looks crazy. And then I know Kermit, for example, Nick, he keeps referring to Garashi as Mr. Clutch, because how many times have we seen him find these overtime goals, these game-winning goals, while playing a little bit more defensive in nature, but he always swings in at the right time. And the fact that this St. Clair squad is so solid, yet we're still just fighting for that fringe spot on the playoffs, again, just goes to show the level of competition we have here in PlayVS.
Yeah, and we were talking about these 32 teams or somewhat, might be looking like a lot for playoffs, just as you were kind of touching on. But if you can, I kind of just did the math about it. 13.33%. That's how many teams are making playoffs out of this league. So, to put that in context for some of you guys, like if you see, a 16 team percentage or a 16 team playoffs, that's what you're kind of used to. Like, at the end of the day, like you got to think that's only about like 6.5%, 6.7%, right? And that really makes things like very slim to none. Like, that's like saying, all right, if we have like 100 teams, we're only allowing 6 into playoffs. Like, yeah, see, exactly. So at the end of the day, right, like as I've been saying, 32 is completely realistic of play versus here, especially considering how I wouldn't say flexible, but flexible and cooperative the Rocket League community is. It's not going to be like kind of like a hassle to run the 32, like you were saying, 3 players rather than 5 or 6. It's not like it's going to be a hassle on their side of things or anything like that. It's more or less like it's just a good ratio to how many teams are actually there.
And it's definitely nice, like you're saying, the cooperation and the flexibility, or not the flexibility, but the fact that they're all well run or well organized. It's not just a group who listens to the bandwagon and just kind of does as they please, like we see in some other games, some other leagues.
Did we get that forfeit win? Because it's 8-16.
It's 8-16 right here, right now, and I am looking at the lobby. I have not been invited to the lobby, which is telling me more than likely that we do have ourselves a forfeit. So I will quickly look to throw this to a break just to get the confirmation. Just waiting on the confirmation on Discord, but more than likely, if I've not been messaged at this point, we do not have ourselves a match for this first one. That being said, though, as we throw it to the break, we're going to put on some replays from matches earlier in the season just to have something on the board here while we do await the 9-15 match versus Purdue. Purdue University. Oh god, that one's not gonna let me down. But yeah, we're gonna throw it to
on the Saints Gaming Twitter. Look at
that. Oh god. Here, if Saints take the Purdue match 3-0, then yes, they shall be known as Pooter. No, oh god. But anyway, I'm gonna throw it to a very, very quick, or not very quick break, but we'll throw it to a break as we await the confirmation, and if worse comes to shove, we'll have a match for you in the meantime. So thank you again for being the early birds, joining us here, hoping for the match, but it's looking like this first one's not going to go. But we'll be back very shortly.
Stay tuned, though. Stay tuned, because we will be back indeed, guys. Around 9:15. That's the next match, so we should be on the mics like 5 minutes earlier, so around then. So stay tuned, guys. We have a lot of action coming around the corner. Like I was saying a minute ago, these matches very crucial, and we'll keep you guys updated as viewers. But guys, for now, my name is Jackson the Pride Brown, joined alongside Dan, Mr. Danner's Banner. Thank you guys so much, and we'll be right back with you.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to some more Rocket League action in the PlayVS League here on the Saints Gaming channel. My name, as always, is Shadi Zeddy Hanna, joined alongside, of course, Nicholas Kermit Malosh. Thank you for joining us again for game number 2 in our doubleheader best of 5 series tonight, where St. Clair is going to be going up against Eastern University.
Yeah, this is exciting to see. Both teams are 2-1. So this should be pretty exciting game. Hopefully game 5 maybe go in St. Clair's favor, but should be an awesome game. I'm ready for it.
I'm hoping we don't even have to go that far. I mean, I love seeing well-fought games, but I also like knowing that, the boys are in top form. And coming off of game number 1 in this league so far, we just got the update on Eastern University's record. They did take their first loss of the season in their first game in tonight's doubleheader as well. And I believe it was a 3-0 as well. So they really took a big hit in the standings. that's pretty rough comparatively to the 2-3 loss that St. Clair had taken. So it does negatively impact their place in the standings. That being said, 2-0 up until this point, still probably decent for getting that far.
Yeah, compared to like other leagues and what I've casted, I mean, you're gonna have schools. You're gonna have schools that are much better than others, and you're gonna have schools that aren't so good. But I mean, you're always gonna have that one team. And St. Clair, roughly for majority of the esports team, they're right there. They're really good.
Yeah, absolutely. We don't know too much about Eastern University. I don't believe I've ever actually seen them play before in any other title. But I'm really looking forward to seeing how they perform here tonight in that Rocket League action. Just wanted to provide a little bit of color going into game number 1, kind of set the stage for this match, as Eastern already off to a decent start here, trying to get some offense, but Kamal is going to get that set out, and now Garashi looking for a way in here on this play.
Yeah, you can see St. Clair's looking a little bit better. We got Grafner with the ball, but Kamal's going to clear that out. St. Clair needs definitely to change up a little stuff as he center it, but that's not going to be a shot. They need to more aggressive as they look. They're looking better than game number 1 right now. As you can see, another Grashi going to get a shot, but that's going to be a save. Going to keep that out of the offensive end, and Kamal with a demo.
That's a double demo, actually. Kamal and Garashi both finding demos of their own. It's going to be a huge opening for St. Clair. However, they're not able to capitalize on this play. Have to find a better opportunity to do that, as Endeavor takes a nice little contest out in the center field. We haven't had the opportunity to be formally introduced into our opponents tonight yet, but we will get to meet them gradually over the course of the evening. As you see Grefner up in the side there, trying to battle it out against Endeavor. Now Garashi on defense going to look to pick that back up and get that set up. It's actually going to get stuck in the goalpost now, as Kamal left kind of stranded alone on the defensive side.
Yeah, and EU's playing some pretty good offense. They're getting their few chances early on, and I mean, that's going to be a shot on goal, but a save by Stair, sorry, my bad.
Yeah.
And, St. Clair, both teams 2-1, trying to see who can maybe get up in the standings, a little bit higher in the standings before the end of the night. As that's going to be a shot, almost a shot, but that's going to be a save by Grefner.
Second week of the PlayVS League, not too much pressure on teams to play out of their minds, but you never want to give a loss away for free. You do want to build up that standings as you can, as best you can. Really build up your score. As Stair finds a demo into a shot, it's going to get defended out, however, by St. Clair. And now Bean Boy, we've finally been introduced to Grefner, Stair, and Bean Boy representing Eastern University. It's going to be going on to that defensive end as St. Clair keeps up this pressure. Kamal looking for a way in to set things up. And I have to say, so far, neither team has really maintained control over the ball. And it's very interesting because typically whenever St. Clair is in the game, either they're controlling it or they have absolutely no control over what's going on. But this game, it looks like nobody really knows what's happening. It's kind of just getting launched all over the place as both teams maintain equal offensive pressure against each other.
Yeah, it's a back and forth game, as that's going to be a shot on goal. Stair's going to almost get a shot there, but Garashi's going to make that save. As you can see, EU's putting on a little bit of pressure, but again, just like that, it's a back and forth game. Now it's in EU's end, and Grafner clears it, but Kamal is going to get shot on goal. Bean Boy's there for the save, and that's going to be a goal by Endeavor. Gives St. Clair a 1-0 lead. Little right around quarter game left.
Yeah, about 3 minutes into this game, Endeavor coming in with the swooping finish. That's exactly what you need if you're St. Clair, to get yourself on the scoreboard and really start building up that tempo going in. Both of these teams, however, like as we mentioned, it's been a very back and forth game, but St. Clair's aerial contests have looked a lot stronger this game. They're just doing a much better job of actually maintaining pressure over the ball in the air, and that's going to be Kamal with another shot on net, and that one's actually going to connect. So St. Clair now up 2-0 with 1:30 left on the timer. A lot of pressure now for University to play this game right.
Yeah, 14 seconds apart. For St. Clair, that's good. That's how you want to start off this series after losing last series. And, it's just St. Clair's looking a lot better this time around, and just like Nakarashi. Oh my.
How does that? That's just unbelievable, honestly, from these guys. It's like they were playing with their food. That's what it feels like. They're just toying around, killing time, burning 3.5 minutes, and then all of a sudden, bam, 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 the team hat trick. Every single player is now on the scoreboard for the side of St. Clair, and that's going to be a 3-0 lead as Endeavor finds another shot on net, but Greffner swooping in for the save. Garashi now on the side. There's going to be a tip to come over. It's going to get blocked away again. But St. Clair still maintaining that offense. However, it's going to kind of be that self-defense of Endeavor as he tries to get that reset out. Not able to find that angle too close to the net as he's up in the air for the shot. Finished save by Clair.
Oh, and there it is. The shot by Garashi scores. Gives them a 4-0 lead. Minute left. And that's just props for Kamal right there for not actually touching the ball there and leaving it for Garashi.
Excellent communication as always from the St. Clair team. Like we mentioned, definitely one of the strongest teams in the PlayVS League. They've demonstrated that time and time again. Even when they took that loss in game number 1, you know, it was a very tough, hard-fought battle. And now going into match number 2, game number 1, a 4-0 start. It's an absolutely beautiful way to leave things off for St. Clair. Now still playing on that offense. Endeavor finds the demo on the side. He's going to look for the pass to Garashi here. Playing with it a little bit in the air. Actually single-handedly carrying that away, but that is going to be Bean Boy with the defense swooping in from the sidelines.
Yeah, Garashi's going to... Endeavor's going to go up with that. That's going to be a center, but double commit there, and nobody's out there to take advantage of it. Midfield, Stair gets it deep in the field, but Kamal's going to send it off to the corner. Bean Boy, nothing, EU cannot find any opportunity. That's back into EU's end, and that's going to end game number 1. St. Clair takes it 4-0.
I mean, at that point, the longer the time goes on, you know, it's just wasting time until the game ends. You know, 4-0, very difficult gap to close when you're running out the clock. So for St. Clair, beautiful execution on that game number 1. A great way to start things off. And I have to say, I mean, it really came down to those aerials, that aerial control. You saw a number of times Endeavor carrying the ball up single-handedly up center field, dancing around 2 members, forcing 3 men to rotate on top of him. And then all of a sudden, you've got 2 players left wide open, look with great angles and shots on net. And it's those single-handed individual plays that really lend themselves to these beautiful goals that we're seeing on screen.
Yeah, and going back to that third goal, I know Garashi scored it, but we got to give props to Endeavor. Having committed to that ball twice, winning the 50-50, and then centering it off the backboard, that's exactly what we want from a teammate, and that's exactly what he did.
Yeah, we saw, if you stuck around during the break, you saw Endeavor pop up on screen for a little interview. You know, he likes to be that solo carry. He likes to be that man versus the world, but definitely playing in a team environment, you have to be willing to adjust to that and what the circumstances call for. And he's really demonstrated himself to be a well-rounded player that's capable of playing that supportive role if required. St. Clair starting things off really, really strong here as we're about to enter into game number 2. See how this one plays out.
Yeah, St. Clair has definitely got some momentum going into game number 2. Let's see how that works out for them, and let's see if EU can stop them from getting another big lead like that.
Yeah, huge demo to start things off, and unfortunately Kamal is just going to go barely wide. Committed a ton of boost onto that play, but he is going to miss, and now Stair on the offense, completely filling up his charge bar there, looking for a way in. As for the first time in a while, Eastern University actually on the offense for a little bit here.
Yeah, EU's definitely got some offensive, and Endeavor almost gets a goal there, but off the crossbar. Kamal's going to commit to that and can't really make anything happen. That's going to be back into St. Clair's end.
All these battles back and forth are really making the pacing awkward. You can kind of see from St. Clair, the plays aren't as fluid as they may have liked them to be. Kind of these slow stalls up center field looking for that follow-up. But at the end of the day, it's just this constant pressure that really just comes down to it. And that nice shot from Kamal, just barely going wide, hitting the top of the crossbar, is going to get deflected out. Now on the defensive side here for things, actually, just as I say that, Kamal nearly getting himself on the scoreboard again, just playing with fire. right outside the sidebar is Endeavor dancing with it again in the 1v1 scenario, bringing all that attention. You can see, though, every time Kamal goes, or Endeavor rather, goes for an attack, 3 members of Eastern University have to collapse on him. And it's those kinds of moments where St. Clair finds really their best success.
Yeah, just like that, Kamal scores. Grashi with the assist after getting the demo here. And, I mean, not too early of a lead, but St. Clair picks it up with 3.5 minutes left.
Yeah, it's exactly like that. Endeavor takes it up, everyone collapses, they try to get themselves reset on the position, but all of a sudden, you're stuck in this 1v3 awkward scenario where Kamal and Garashi can kind of just play with you as Endeavor runs circles around the enemy team, and it's such a beautiful kind of way of really executing on that lone wolf strategy we talked about at the beginning of cast. You know, it's a very kind of supportive way to be the solo carry for Endeavor, and it's definitely paying off for this team as St. Clair finds yet another offensive attempt that is going to get beaten out by Beanboy on the defense. Now Kamal looking for a way in, getting a little close to the net, but he's going to be able to clear that out no problem. Try to get something going here on the offense.
My.
See, I didn't even know to get hyped about that, because I just thought no way in heck that goes in, but Garashi, the man, the myth, the legend, coming in from the skies for the upside down reversal tip. 2-0, my word, what is this game? St. Clair just absolutely popping off in game number 2.
Just as I was thinking of what to say, Grashi comes up with that goal, and just keep it up above top upper net, nobody's there. That's an easy goal. But also going back to the first game, you can tell just how aggressive St. Clair was with, they had 13 shots on goal. That is just insane from what I've seen in other series.
No, absolutely. You know, soccer is one of those games where, you know, you don't expect to see a lot of shots on net, and now obviously car soccer tries to mimic that as much as it can. It is very difficult to actually find a successful goal, but when you see blowouts like what we see from St. Clair, it really shows and speaks to the level of skill and aptitude that these players have for this game. Their mechanical skill is just completely unmatched in a number of scenarios. And now St. Clair again on the offensive side in the air, however, is going to go slightly wide as Kamal tries to reset the play, slow things down a little bit. Now Grefner moving up with Beanboy, going to look for the offense, and he's going to try to find a tip, but it's just going to go wide, and Kamal's going to fly out of the air to clear that out. On an open net, however, Grefner is going to be able to get that tip, send that flying to the side, but this offense is not done yet for St. Clair. They're keeping up this momentum, and the huge demo from Endeavor to shut things down on the defensive side.
Yeah, St. Clair's definitely looking really good in this game. And another, wow, that's 2 more demos for Endeavor, and just Kamal's just single-handedly going around all the players for that goal.
Oh, man.
My.
That replay didn't give us the double demo. I wanted to see that again. That's so unfortunate. Endeavor, the double kill leading up to Kamal to clean that play up. The main reason, like, it looked crazy what Kamal did, but it was actually just very calculated. He knew after that demo, no boost available on the side of Eastern University means he can just walk right in there. That's exactly what he did. Got himself the nice little solo goal there, following off of Endeavor's huge play. And again, St. Clair really just taking advantage of all of their teammates' strengths, playing a beautiful game. 3-0 now with 1 minute remaining.
Yeah, the communication definitely looks a lot better from game number 1. As you can see, this is going to be a shot on goal, and just like that, EU scores. Beanboy scores, and I mean, it's not over yet. 2-goal deficit. It's still possible.
That's not car soccer. That's air hockey. That was the weirdest angle I've ever seen. Bouncing that right off the border to get that popped in. Endeavor did his very best to get back on top of that, but Beanboy is going to get himself and his team on the scoreboard, slow things down a little bit, 3-1 now. Still in the favor of St. Clair is Kamal. Not going to let that go down without a response prepared. Sets up the pass into Garashi, but it is going to go wide. And now St. Clair again on that offensive reset, trying to regain control of the ball here as it gets tipped out by Grefner. Looking to make a play up in the side here.
Yeah, Kamal trying to get an aerial off the roof there, trying to get a flip reset in, but he's matched there, and I mean, Grashi's going to center that. Endeavor's going to get a shot. Nothing quite there. 10 seconds left. And this is just...
Nice pass.
Oh, gets it and scores.
That was beautiful. I think that was Endeavor. Let's look at that again. And Garashi actually with the tip onto Kamal. It looked like he was self-passing, but he knew exactly what he was doing. You don't see stuff like that every day, folks. That was a beautiful setup from Garashi to give Kamal, I believe, his second goal of the game now. And with 3 seconds remaining on the clock, that's going to call it for St. Clair. 4-1 victory, game number 2. Damn, do they look good right now.
Yeah, they are definitely on fire this time. Just, you love to see it. First game, they had 13 shots. This game, they had 12. They're just lighting up the shots on goal.
12 shots on net with 4 goals connected. That's a 33% accuracy. Like, that's pretty good. Like, that's actually pretty good. It seems like a low ball number, but for a game like Rocket League, 33% on net, that's respectable to say the least.
Yeah, that shooting percentage for St. Clair right now is right where it needs to be. If you're EU, you need to be you need to win your battles. You need to, be more offensive, hit the balls,
Yeah, I mean, it just looks like they need to get shots on net. What I'm noticing, however, rather than, maybe a lack of offensive perception, it's that they're still getting baited out by Endeavor on repeat. Like, Endeavor is just dancing around this team right now, single-handedly. And it's setting up his team for some beautiful plays here. Eastern University actually starts things off with a nice shot on goal that is going to get blocked away, however. Now St. Clair with a little bit of offensive pressure as Kamal plays with it around on the side, tries to find that pass up the center. It's going to go off the wall here. The demo coming in again from Endeavor. Going to set things up as Garashi finds the shot on net. It's going to get defended, however, by Clair. But the follow-up from Endeavor. Look at this team. They are in such perfect synergy. Run that back for me, Danners. Garashi off the wall. Endeavor with the follow-up. My gosh, their 25-second goal for St. Clair, and it just looks flawless.
Let's give props to Greffner for that amazing save.
True.
That was just unbelievable on the line. Oh, you love to see those saves.
Yeah, it's a great save, but it sucks when you don't even get to save that clip because you get scored on 2 seconds later.
Yeah.
It just shows how good the St. Clair team is. That being said, a scary situation here as Clair finds a wide open net with off the pass from Bean Boy. That is going to be another goal now in this game. However, this time going over to Eastern University. Going to tie that one up nice and quick. That's exactly the kind of way you need to be playing right now. It's a match point situation. You just got flexed on in the first 20 seconds. Great response from Eastern University to tie things up in this game.
Yeah, and this is what Eastern University needs to do. They need to, be more offensive. Again, win the battles, win the 50-50s, and, play the basics. When St. Clair messes up, take advantage of it and score a goal like they just did. Nobody was in net, and, it's a 1-1 game.
Absolutely. It's for credit where credit is due, and for teams that can recognize windows like that and exploit them, it's always a beautiful thing to see. Probably my favorite thing about esports in general is just recognizing your windows. Speaking of windows, Endeavor Garashi, each picking up a demo for themselves. Now St. Clair on the offense with complete fuel control here. And every time, look at that, Kermit, every single time, demo into goal. That's a window. They recognize the opportunity and they capitalize. And St. Clair are going to pull this 2-1.
Yeah, and by the end of the year, by the end of the school year, by the end of the playoffs, whatever, Garashi is going to be a household name. That is, I can guarantee that.
Facts. Man is playing out of his mind, and unfortunately, Caster's curse, as soon as we give him that clout, Garashi is going to get demoed. Now on the defense a little bit for Eastern University, going to try to get that dump out, maybe look for another counter goal here, but Endeavor's not going to let that go down easy. A nice little offensive play, try to push that in as Kamal finds the demolition on the back end, off screen. Nice little shot coming up from Eastern from Bean Boy, but it is going to get blocked away. And now Endeavor looking to get things set back up for his team. He's been doing a great job playing that utility role. Now trying to get a little bit of offense pressure for himself. See if he can maybe get himself on the scoreboard here in this one.
Yeah, that's going to be another shot on goal, but a save by Bean Boy is going to keep him in this game a little bit tighter. A little bit closer. Oh, nice.
my God.
Almost puts that in the goal.
Never, we want you to get on a goal on net, but we don't want it to be on this, not like this, not on your own. As a nice little tip to Kamal, looks clean. As Kamal finds the finish on Garashi's beautiful setup. Let's take a look at that again. Up off the top of the arena, Kamal dancing with it off the crossbar, the stealth pass to clean things up. The 367-20 spin. My God, every single play just looks absolutely beautiful from this squad.
Yeah, Kamal makes a beautiful aerial goals and just another open net. And Kamal clutches it.
Kermit,
It is 4-1.
Kermit, it's just murder. How many goals is Kamal at now, match-wise? Like eight goals?
Oh, you gotta be 7, 8, somewhere right around there.
Crazy. Just absolutely phenomenal. This is what I was saying, like, you're talking about Garashi being a household name. I guarantee you every single player on this team can be a household name, but Grefner really wants to join the leaders on the Hall of Fame here. Not going to let himself be ignored with the beautiful off-tip goal to set things up 2-4 now. 2 minutes and 20 seconds left in this game. There is still plenty of Rocket League left to play in this game here, folks.
Oh yeah, and just like that, between goals, that was 4 seconds. 4 seconds between goals, so, you know, anything can happen. As long as there's time on the clock, it's not over.
So true, and especially in a game like Rocket League where the tempo and the pace are just so phenomenally accelerated. You know, teams have to be really good at finding those windows and capitalizing on them. This is going to be one of them. Again, the double demo, leading into another goal for St. Clair.
Kamal with the hat trick this game. 3 goals, just unbelievable.
It's just, I love the way St. Clair is finding these demolitions and setting themselves up for success perfectly every time. The nice shot coming out from Stair, almost a self-goal as well. It was nearly a 2-second goal for himself. Really wants to get himself up on the scoreboard here again. I believe he scored the first goal of the game for his team. Now trying to find himself number 2, but it's not going to happen this time around. As St. Clair does manage to get the ball dumped out deep. Endeavor with the pass back to Kamal to reset things, but Grefner finds the demolition. Kamal is going to get the counter kill onto Endeavor, and look at that kill feed, ladies and gentlemen. 3 demos in the span of 3 seconds, and now Kamal trying to find an opportunity output. Bean Boy, great job capitalizing on that play, is going to find himself a goal, and that means every single member of Eastern University is now on the scoreboard.
Yeah, and you know what? Bean Boy just kept them in the game. It's only 2 goals. I know it's only, but there's still a minute 20 seconds left. And I mean, if EU can play, well, I mean, anything can happen, right? It's Rocket League.
If I'm St. Clair right now, with the start that I have, recognize how far ahead you are and just play defense. I think they were getting a little bit cocky with the lead they had. They just wanted to see how many goals they could score, but it's starting to bite them in the butt as Bean Boy finds number 2, the back-to-back goal. Bring this 4-5. There's still a minute left on the clock. This game is far from over.
Yeah, and like I was saying, that right there was 19 seconds. So, and they're only down by 1. So, I mean, maybe we can get a few more games in, hopefully. I mean, I love Rocket League. Oh, just like that, Grefner ties it up. EU's on the comeback. They have momentum.
No way. We just got to witness this on stream. It was 4-1, and now it's 5-5. What a crazy game number 3. This is match point for Eastern University. St. Clair has plenty of time to get their act together, but man, oh man, they are taking their sweet time doing it. Eastern University just playing with St. Clair right now, pulling that back up to 5-5. It is a tie game here, match point situation. St. Clair, 40 seconds left in the clock on the offensive end, going to try to find something on net as Garashi gets the pass off the wall. This looks good for Kamal, but he just goes wide. And now St. Clair has to furiously get back into position on defense as Endeavor using a lot of his boost charge here to dance in the air, get that pass set up, but it is going to get tipped away. Now Kamal stuck to play on defense here.
Yeah, EU is looking a lot better coming into the last 2 minutes, not even minute and a half of this game.
That's the demo. We've seen those demos lead to goals. Let's see it happen for St. Clair, but I believe that window of opportunity has just passed as Eastern University finds a shot on net. It is going to go wide, however. Now St. Clair, are they going to let this touch? Are they going to let it go to overtime? And that is going to be overtime now, starting things back off with the tip-off. Let's see who can get that first goal. And round things out as Endeavor finds a shot on net, but it's just going to go wide. Nice save from Stair. Keep that cleared out of the zone. But it's not done yet. Kamal flying in, just barely missing that shot.
Yeah, you really love to see this. And Kamal going up for an aerial, not going to be there. Endeavor, and that's going to score. Kamal wins it in overtime, and that's going to give St. Clair the 3-0 win over EU.
Kamal scored double digits in this series. Are you kidding me? Incredible performance from St. Clair. Another 3-0. Eastern University goes down, and that's going to mean St. Clair walks away tonight, finishing the PlayVS series 3-1 at the end of week 2. Phenomenal game play.
Oh man, again, another game. That was 9 shots on goal, 6 goals. I mean, what more can you ask for? That's exactly what you want. I mean, EU played amazing the last 2 minutes, and unfortunately, St. Clair pulled the benefit of the doubt in overtime, and Kamal won it.
Yeah, I mean, Eastern University showed us that they've got fire. They've got that capacity. They've got that ability. It just, unfortunately, took a little bit too long to come online, and that is going to mean St. Clair walks away with the W for tonight. But damn, was that a well-deserved victory. 3-0. Beautiful execution from St. Clair.
Yeah, I was kind of hoping that we'd go an extra few games, but can't always have that. And you know what? I'm happy St. Clair won, and unfortunate for Eastern University. They went 0-6 today, but good luck on the upcoming weeks, and I wish you the best.
Absolutely. You always got to give props to your opponents, no matter how the game goes out. And regardless of how those first 2 games went, Game 3 was one of the best matches I've ever seen, if not the best match that we've played all season. So big thank you to Eastern University for showing up tonight and giving us a great game on stream. And if you want to see plenty more great games on stream, please tune into our schedule. We'll give you a quick rundown of events coming up on the timeline for you. Next on the dock is Friday, 9 p.m., Rainbow Six Siege in the CR6 League, followed by Saturday, 7 p.m., some Call of Duty Black Ops Cold War action in Collegiate Call of Duty. Going into Monday, 7 p.m., Play versus Overwatch. Be sure to check that one out. Team's been having some rough games recently, but we're hoping to get back onto the winning side of things here.
few shots on goal.
I mean, talking about the number of teams that both of the that George Mason is offering, it speaks on the one hand that maybe this team is less polished than some of the others, but on the other, the exceptional amount of Rocket League talent that this school has, and I'm sure that there's a lot of coordination between these three teams. So we're definitely going to see how that affects this team and maybe how rehearsed and well practiced they are. So far, as you mentioned, not a whole lot going on, but we are getting a couple shots on net coming down from St. Clair. There's George Mason trying to push it in. We'll get to know the players a little bit. There's GMU No You pushing up through the front line, trying to find that shot on net. Passing to I Don't Give a Bother. These names are quite comedic on the side of George Mason University. A couple of jokesters on this roster for sure.
Yeah, we've actually had a lot of really close shots just bounce off the post or just hang around near the net. Some good saves already so far. So very good defensive play from each team so far. And, also pretty good offensive play. Just need to hit the net a little bit more. And overall, I'm going to be excited to see if we do see that happen here shortly, as a minute and a half has passed throughout this game now. And there hasn't really been a whole lot of action. But this looks like it was almost a good shot there from Kamal. But it was a great save there from No You to stop that from hopping in the net. And overall, I mean, they're bouncing it over a little bit. And, they're doing a pretty decent job of keeping this kind of around the other team's territory and trying to put it in the net, but overall not having great success in finding the back of the net yet.
It's been really interesting watching how St. Clair is taking these approaches. Like, yeah, they're not finding any shots on goal, but also George Mason hasn't been able to clear it out of their half in nearly 2 minutes. Like, just constant pressure. And it's that pressure that's going to allow Kamal to pick up the first goal of the game, finding that tip. It's kind of like any other sport, really. You keep putting enough pressure on net, and eventually something's going to break, something's going to crack. And beautiful execution from St. Clair to keep that pressure alive for nearly 2 minutes, finding that 1-0 lead.
Exactly, I couldn't agree more, and that's a very good cushion for St. Clair to have to start things off. They've kept that pressure on the other team, so now when they have a goal, they can slow things down a little bit and play a little bit more defensively. You're not sure if they're actually going to want to do that. They want to build themselves a little bit more of a cushion. But overall, I mean, if you're St. Clair, you're pretty happy with how things are going so far and really hoping that things, keep up and keep in the light. And just like that, they do, as Endeavor will find one and extend the lead to 2-0 for St. Clair.
Awesome shot from Endeavor, right off the top of the screen there, actually bouncing straight down Kamal with a nice tip into Endeavor to clean that one up. And it's really amazing watching how creative this team gets with their offense. We talked before, previously, the last time I saw this roster, they had this incredible kind of three-man weave that they were really good at executing, where every time someone would shoot, someone was right behind them to get that follow-up touch, and Endeavor and Kamal executed that perfectly. However, that is going to lead to an opening in GMU's defense here as Endeavor finds his second goal of the game on a wide open net against George Mason University.
Yeah, for sure. So that's great stuff there from St. Clair to extend it to a 3-0 lead in this one. And, if you're St. Clair, you're very happy with how things are going now. You have the lead, you have the cushion. You can really slow down your gameplay now and just play defense and really just save the ball at this point in time. St. Clair with an excellent lead and a great start to this play versus league in general, right? I mean, this is the very first game, so this is really going to dictate on how they do. Like, goals for and goals against will really hit the standings hard here throughout these first two games. This is a doubleheader tonight, so we're loving to see that. Garashi will find one as well. That's a 4-0 lead for St. Clair Saints. And overall, like I was saying, goals for, goals against will be a pretty big impact here as it's very early in the season, and it will impact the standings a lot.
For St. Clair, really, like getting a 4-0 lead with 2 minutes left to spare in game one of a best-of-5 set, you have to consider not just the implications it has on this game in a bubble, but also how that affects the rest of the set. Imagine starting off your series, your first game of the season, and you're getting 4-0'd on before the game, like at the halfway point. Like, that is absolutely brutal for George Mason University. St. Clair doing an incredible job just starting the season off right. They can ride this momentum on into games number 2 and 3. With that said, game number 1 still isn't wrapped up yet, although it is looking pretty rough, if we're being honest. Endeavor getting himself in deep, trying to find the shot, but there's the tip to Kamal. He's going to find the shot, but don't give a bother with the save. However, Garashi, the constant pressure, man.
That's crazy. That's really the three-man weave you were talking about. Look at that. Kamal, he's going to get the shot, but yes, it's going to get defended. Most of the times when you're shooting, you will get defended, right? But overall, I mean, like, great stuff with that three-man weave, like you were saying. and it just boosts right off, and they're doing an excellent job of executing that, and it's really translating into this lead right now for St. Clair as they lead now 5-0, and there's still over a minute to play, Zeddy. We could see this lead extended even more if need be. George Mason, though, looking to answer back, trying as best as they can, but they're really struggling just to get the ball out of their zone. I'm really interested to see if they can find one goal on the board here before this game is over.
Their defensive approach to the game is just so immaculate. You go in, you'll see someone going for a shot. For example, Kamal on that last play. They'll go in for a shot. The shot will go wide. He'll immediately loop back around and play full defense to catch the ball if it goes in too deep. And everybody is complementing each other's offensive just so perfectly. Garashi with a beautiful pass into Endeavor up top. Going to look for the one touch, but unfortunately the goaltending is just a little bit too strong on the side of George Mason University. That's going to shut that play down. However, with 20 seconds left in the clock, it's going to be hard for George Mason to close a 5-point lead. I don't really see a world where that happens. Unfortunately for George Mason, they're still playing defense even with 10 seconds left in the clock. And as St. Clair burns out the timer here, they're keeping up this pressure. The shots on net are relentless, and that's going to be the game in just a few seconds as that ball touches down. St. Clair with a 5-0 lead to start things off.
Yeah, and you know what? One thing I really do want to touch on there is as much of it was a 5-0 lead for St. Clair, like they did an excellent job. Like GMU did a great job of just playing defense in general, right? Like they might have let 5 goals in the net, but they did a great job of at least saving a majority of those shots, right? Like they had so many save points and so many like defensive points on their players just because of how much they've been doing to save the ball. So overall, we are here now in the second game of the set, and they are just jumping right into each other. This is one thing that I absolutely love about Rocket League. There's no time to miss any action, and we are jumping right into things. Endeavor with a blow-up right off the hop of face.
Double demo for Endeavor is going to lead off the round, completely killing the boost on the side of George Mason. That's going to slow them down a ton. You can already see how much that's impacted the pace of the game. Kamal going for the shot, trying to find that angle, and he's going to get the touch there and just goes wide. Garashi with the shot is going to hit the side bar there. Now Speckled Penny coming in looking for that offensive, but Kamal is already in position, and Endeavor with his third demo of the game, that's going to lead a wide open net as Kamal finds the first shot on net and the first goal for St. Clair.
Yeah, St. Clair is not slowing down whatsoever. You know, they're picking up right where they left off in the previous game, building themselves a nice and early lead, something they didn't really do as much in the last game. They really got a little bit warmed up first and get used to each other again as it's the first game of the day. But overall, here we go. SCC now leading 1-0 against GMU, and they are looking pretty good. Like you see, they're just throwing the aerials around, hanging this ball in their zone. Their time on attack is absolutely phenomenal. They are really doing an excellent job of, you know, not even just putting pressure on them, but keeping this ball in the zone. Great defense overall from St. Clair. Maybe not saving goals, but saving it from crossing that half-point marker.
I just got to give a shout out to Endeavor. I keep looking at that demo feed, and his name is just up there every 2.5 seconds. That was, again, yet another double demo for Endeavor. You have to think, that was a little tricky to say, but you got to think, like, every single time he gets a demolition, how much that impacts the pace of the game, how much that disrupts George Mason's defense, and how much that pressure that provides to Garashi and Kamal to find his kills. The nice save from Speckled Penny, though, going to go over the crossbar there, keep that one out of net. However, that one coming a little too close for comfort. Endeavor getting real close to that shot on goal. So now George Mason, you know, they've got the ball into St. Clair's end more than a couple times. It's just about finding that shot on target. And so far, they haven't been able to do that yet.
Yeah, for sure. And, you know, Endeavor, great little bounce there, and he's going to find a goal. Great assist from Kamal to set his player up. And now a 2-0 lead for SCC. You know, we were talking about these cushions that St. Clair's building for themselves to really, you know, help them out moving forward. They're doing an excellent job of executing that, building themselves an early lead in these games. And it really provides them a lot more comfort as the game gets closer and closer to the finishing waymark. GMU, they have a lot of work to do to really crawl back here, not in just this game alone, but it's going to be the series now, as they are trailing 2-0 and they're already down one game in the series. GMU, we are really looking for them to get a shot and a goal on net here soon.
It's just like, it's not even just about the point difference, it's just about the difference in control of the game. GMU literally has not had a real shot on net or a real goal attempt in this game at all, and hardly had any coming out of game number one. Here's Kamal again with another shot. A good save though from Speckled Penny, who did a great job on goaltending. But I mean, to your comment before the game, we talked about how GMU has all these defensive points, and I'm having a hard time deciding whether that's because they're playing good defense or because St. Clair is just shooting constantly. Like, if you got that many shots, eventually you're going to start racking up those points. You know, you can't let everything in. And it just looks like St. Clair's offense is just far too overwhelming for George Mason to even get a hold of.
Yeah, I couldn't agree with you more on that one. You know, it's probably got to be a little bit of a variation of both. Like, yes, all these players in this lobby right now can play great defense, but like you're saying, it's just St. Clair overwhelming the other team with shots, and eventually you are going to be saving some of those shots. So good stuff there from the side of St. Clair so far. Really interested to see how things continue to play out in the last 2 minutes of this matchup. And, you know, this score, it looks a little bit closer than it was the last game. You know, GMU, they're doing a little bit job of slowing slowing St. Clair down and actually, you know, preventing more shots on net, less time on attack, and they're actually getting the ball in the other team's zone a little bit more often than previously, right? And that is going to be a good shot there from the side of GMU. Just will not connect on the net, and it's going to hit that post. Great save there overall. Kamal with a nice shot as well.
Now for George Mason, trying to go on the offensive here towards the mid-game. Garashi is going to push that up. The nice little tip to Kamal to get that set up. It is going to get defended, however. But the tip to Garashi as well. He's right in position for the shot, straight on target. That's going to be 3-0 now for St. Clair. I believe that's Garashi's second goal of the game now. He is just doing absolute wonders for his team with all of these shots on target, racking up these points. I believe Garashi is new to the roster as of this season. Previously had a different player on the roster. I believe it was Fusion. We've actually a new player to the team. And you know what? I don't even have time to talk about it. Endeavor's just going to shut that player right down with another goal of his own. So really, this new roster is just doing absolute wonders for this team.
Yeah, so he was actually a substitute for 2 semesters, so he was riding a little bit behind the lines, you know. He was doing what he needed to do as a substitute, you know, coming in whenever need be. So good stuff there from the side of SCC to, you know, at least be, you know, racking some goals for Sashi. He looks like he's playing quite well, too, and he's fitting into this roster well. So overall, I'm really interested to see how things continue to play out. But I was just saying a few seconds ago how, you know, the SCC team is really, you know, they're putting on pressure, and they weren't, you know, but they weren't getting as many goals as they were last time around. But now, you see here, I completely take that back, as they've already matched what they had last game, and they've really heat up near the end of this game, and it's really looking like where St. Clair does their best, is near the end of the games when they can compete. And overall, I mean, they have 45 seconds right now to just, I feel like at this point, maybe just rack up their lead even more. GMU really struggling on getting shots on net.
It just feels like, Matt, put yourself in George Mason's position right now. You've been playing defense for nearly 9.5 minutes. Like, that's not Rocket League. That's goaltending simulator, and that's really all they're really allowed to playing against this offense from St. Clair. It's exhausting, it's tiring, and eventually you're going to let something slip when you lose control of the play, lose control of the momentum. And St. Clair really has not dropped the ball once, so to speak. And now going into this last 7 seconds, they're going to burn out the clock, basically seal the deal here on this game, as St. Clair just going to dump that in deep, try to get that touch to close out this game. Of course, the game does not end until the ball hits ground. GMU going to do everything they can to keep it in the air, but it's not going to be enough. Kamal just going to find a safe space to let it touch, and that's going to be the game. Game number 2 going to St. Clair, a 2-0 so far in this series.
Yeah, for sure. So overall, for St. Clair, they are in a very good position, right? You're going to have to see a GMU reverse sweep if they do want to have a shot of really coming back in this series. And that is so hard to do in Rock League, right? You can find a lucky goal here then, and it's so hard, especially considering what GMU has been having to do lately, right? So, I mean, just a reverse sweep, I don't really see it in the books, but if GMU can pull off something phenomenal, put on a show for us, and really, you know, get a goal on the board, even then I would like to see, you know, just a little bit more offensive play from GMU. Even if it results in them having to lack on the defense part of it a little bit, you got to change something up if you're GMU moving forward. You're not doing, like, you're not scoring, you're not making plays what you're doing currently. So I'd like to see something a little bit change in their strats.
At this point, really, it's just about, you know, preserving your mental. You know, you can't mental boom after getting 5-0 twice in a row. You know, get yourself a goal, something you can feel a little bit good about, something that you can ride on, and really try to turn into some positive energy. Because right now, it's just apparent that there's Absolutely none of that on George Mason's side right now. Going 0-2, taking over 10 goals, letting 10 goals go in less than 10 minutes of play. Like that is a lot to deal with. So George Mason now coming into game number 3, just get something, guys. You just got to get something in.
Yeah, and that's the big thing. At least for their mental, like you were saying, right? Like I believe, like we got word from production that most of these teams are playing double headers tonight, right? So if you're George Mason University, that's exactly a big key factor for you then, right? Like you do want to keep your mental good and you want to be able to, maybe if you don't bounce back this series, at least bounce back next series and keep yourself in the running, right? And that's going to be one of the big things for GMU moving forward if they do want to, look pretty good in this play versus league and come out pretty strong. But overall, for starters, St. Clair, they're doing a great job. And, if they even just do exactly what they did these past 2 games, they're going to be 1-0 and 15-0 on goals for, goals against. And that's absolutely amazing stats overall. I cannot wait to see how the standings look going into our next game of tonight.
Here we go. Speaking of next game, here we start with game number 3. St. Clair already now put on the defense. You wanted to see some offense from George Mason, but now St. Clair actually on the back foot to start that off. However, it's not going to last very long. They're already able to get the ball dumped into the opposite end as Endeavor tries to set something up for Garashi. Garashi just going to dance with it in the air a little bit, get that tip off to Endeavor, and the 3-touch to Kamal just barely goes wide. Must have misangled that shot just a tad, but it looked great to see that beautiful pass to shot. I grew up playing a lot of sports, right? I grew up playing a lot of ball hockey, and my coaches would always yell at me. They're like, man, you got a one touch. Everything's got to be a one touch. And watching these Rocket League games, the way that this team, the St. Clair team, is just one touch passing everything. You give, you go. You set it up for that next player. You let them drive it home. You don't ever have to be the star of the show. And so far, the St. Clair team has demonstrated that not a single one of them has to be the star of the show. They are willing to complement each other and set each other up for some beautiful plays. As Speckled Penny there gets the huge demo onto Kamal to shut that play down.
Yeah, and one thing you will notice here now, everybody from the side of St. Clair is actually running the same vehicle. So, they're just having some fun now. St. Clair, you don't usually see that. Everyone has their preferred vehicles, right? Everyone that uses their vehicle that they want to use most. But overall, St. Clair, they're just having some fun now. And Kamal, he's going to score well doing that. So that is an early 1-0 lead for St. Clair. And we're only a minute and 19 seconds in this game. GMU, I mean, they've looked pretty decent so far. This one, they've at least got some shots on net and at least got it in the enemy zone. But St. Clair still able to find the back of the net first here in game 3. GMU going to have to answer back if they do want to keep themselves alive in this series.
100%. We keep saying, starting to sound like a little bit of a broken record, of course, but it's so hard to watch, man. Like, this team's just getting wrecked. It's the first game of the series, and you just kind of got your head in your hands a little bit. Like, man, let's see some action. Let's see some offense. Now here from St. Clair, looking a little scary. Kamal driving that a little bit too close to home, but that's going to be Endeavor with the self-team save. Now St. Clair all kind of clumped up a little bit, looking a little disoriented compared to how they've looked all season. All set rather. Usually they're keeping their positioning pretty wide open, but the missed pass from Kamal actually going to be a little scary for St. Clair. Going to have to back off and get that reset now. Garashi trying to find a shot on net with the touch to Endeavor. Not going to connect this time around, but he's looking for the pass to Garashi again. Just gets saved, goes wide a little bit. Now Speckled Penny on offense. A close shot goes right up the sidebar. That's not going to connect. That's not what you're looking for. And now St. Clair has the opportunity to turn this back around as they've got a lot of boost in the tank. 100 on Endeavor, looking to find that shot on net.
Yeah, that was a great shot there from GMU to, at least put some pressure on the Saints. If that was on target, that would have resulted in the net. St. Clair would not have been able to save that, and that would have been a goal. But Kamal, he's going to answer. He's going to find his second so far of this game. And, overall, St. Clair, they're going to build themselves a cushion. I keep saying that over and over, but once you have a cushion in the game, you start to feel a lot more confident about your play, and and what confidence really shows in games, right? You really start trying some tricky shots, and it can really result in a good goal. So I really like to see that. And Garashi almost with a nice early goal there, but GMU, the post will be stopping it for them. And now, so far, SCC, the ball is now in their zone, but they're going to do exactly what they want to do. Get it out right away. Shot on net from Garashi. Isn't able to go in. Bounce back in. Look at all the bounces. That 3-man weave. It comes in, and you see it every single game. Garashi, excellent job there of putting that back in off the rebound and putting that in the back of the net. St. Clair Saints now 3-0, and they are doing really good at the very end of this game. They really seem as if they heat up near the end of these games.
That was a beautiful play from both Endeavor and Garashi to set that up, the 2-man play there. And yeah, that last 2 minutes seems to be where St. Clair really starts to shine. They were looking a little rough at the beginning of this game, to be honest. They might be getting worn out themselves. They've played these games, these best of fives, it's a lot of game to play. And even though it doesn't feel like much, the games are super high impact. I mean, I don't know how many of you guys in chat have actually tried playing Rocket League yourselves. It is stressful as hell. And these guys are doing an incredible job keeping their composure this entire time. Speaking of keeping your composure and keeping your cool, George Mason University dancing with flames there as the ball barely hits the crossbar and goes down. A nice little save from No You is going to keep that play out. And now St. Clair has the ball in their end, going to try to get that dumped back and keep that pressure going. Endeavor getting up in the air and trying to play some defense, but he's completely out of boost now. That play is going to be dead. Kamal as well has expended everything. Actually going to take a demo as well from Speckled Penny. So he's off the board for a couple seconds now as St. Clair gets themselves back into position, tries to build up that boost charge. And now Kamal going in for the play is going to get shut down right away at center field.
Yeah, no, that's a pretty good shot on net, but Speckled Penny isn't able to complete the play and put it in the back of the net. So overall, St. Clair going to get that back out of their zone with only 40 seconds on the clock. GMU slowly running out of time. If they do want to find a win here and at least extend the series one more game, they do need to find a goal, and they need to find it here. 30 seconds, it is still quite a bit of time, but you need to find 3 goals throughout this time. So St. Clair, as long as they continue putting on the pressure, they should be closing up this series here very shortly.
20 seconds left on the clock. You can feel the pressure rising for George Mason. They still don't even have a single goal on net. And really, at this point, that's all you can hope for. One clean shot, but Endeavor's not going to let that happen, at least not without a fight. Keeping that ball in deep. Kamal going to just dance it around. They're not even going for shots on net so much as they are just trying to keep it out of George Mason's control. As we know, as soon as that ball touches the ground, that is going to be the game. In St. Clair, 13-0 over 3 games, going to absolutely dominate George Mason University.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back here to the Saints Gaming C Twitch channel, your home for the St. Clair Saints varsity esports team. Now we have ourselves a match on our hands. Play versus Rocket League, season finale, final matchup, of course the entire season, and we need this win to get ourselves a chance even at getting into the playoffs. My name's Dan Banner, also known as Mr. Danners. Joining me again, we have Jackson Brown. Welcome, Jackson. You excited for the final match of the season?
Yeah, man, it is a life or death situation here for the Saints, right? I mean, if they win this, they're looking pretty good at a playoff spot. You know, that forfeit win from Florida, just absolutely huge for us to really make that run. So here we go. We are now sitting in the 41 slot. I'm going to refresh it now just so I can give you guys a little bit more of an update that is going on currently. However, I mean, 41, you got to give props to the guys because they are so good right now. They are looking on fire. You want to see this momentum continue. And we are right around the corner from starting here, folks. I heard a little bit of a countdown. We're still sitting in the number 41 spot. So we are going to be in for a treat. We win. We go to playoffs. We lose. We don't make it. I mean, just the position we're in right now, if we win, we should be going to playoffs.
In theory, because we put ourselves, like you were saying, actually, in the pre-show of the match not being a forfeit, but you're mentioning there, like, of course, tiebreakers are a thing that come into factor. However, the Saints all season long, when they lost, they're usually close games, so that map differential that could be critical into, like, getting us ahead of these teams that have the same record as us, but maybe lost a little bit harder, and we're going to be able to fight for those final positions because, in theory, like you're saying, yeah, we win this, we should be there given our record, but in all reality, it's not necessarily a guarantee either because it is going to be close. Now, just quickly going to switch on over to something real. Sorry, go ahead.
Quick stat. There is, it looks like 44 teams with 8 wins. All right? So 44 teams with 8 wins, and we are 6th out of those 44. And that standings-wise. So that's what we're talking about. Our tiebreaker is absolutely phenomenal.
Yeah, absolutely. It gives us the best position possible. And here we have it. Game 1 up against Purdue University. We have on the side of Purdue, going to cheat a little bit. We've got Ineffable Pickle Shooter alongside Mercado for Purdue. And, of course, your hometown squad here for the St. Clair Saints. You know who they are. It's Kamal, it's Garashi, it's Endeavor. Ready to rock here in this first 30 seconds of action.
Yeah, this is going to be an interesting one. You know, we want to see the Saints at absolutely full power tonight. But these teams, both very solid teams. And that's going to be Purdue starting things off nicely. Ineffable going to find the back of the net. And Purdue B actually leads, starting things off only 31 seconds in.
Unfortunate little bounce there for Endeavor. Of course, he wanted to maybe put that into the corner instead, but did not get the contact he was looking for. Inadvertently, basically using that wall as a backboard, centering it for the other squad. Purdue not going to mistake that opportunity in the slightest. Ineffable going to find himself the finishing blow and really putting the heat on St. Clair early here in this first game.
Yeah, I mean, very good stuff now from St. Clair, putting this ball in the side of Purdue. However, you know, it's a little more work than that. You know, it's not as easy as just getting the ball in their territory, right? You got to get a setup and you got to make a play. Kamal is doing exactly that, but it will go wide. But Endeavor takes it off of the goalie. Nice rebound. I heard you scream rebounds in there. Absolutely huge stuff, and that's what we like to see, right? In collegiate Rocket League, higher level Rocket League, you have to be playing for your rebounds because that's when the goalie is the most off guard.
Absolutely. We saw there Mercado was right there ready to make the jump, but just the speed at which that bounced off the post made it extremely difficult, and Saints able to close this one up, or at least tie it up rather, nice and quick. Did not let that run away very quickly, and it's definitely a good thing. And holy smokes, Kamal. He's going to make the aerial play right off the backboard. Beautifully done.
Great stuff. That's going to give Saints the lead after Purdue, you know, took that early one 31 seconds in. But, you know, in the last 50 seconds here now, the Saints have racked up 2 and said, no, this lead is ours. We took it back. So here we go. We are in a 2-1 position here now for the Saints. Looking strong here, right? This cushion is exactly what you like to see from the Saints. However, they have to keep the offense going. You know, you can't let Purdue try to get on them, come and tie this game up. You got to keep on your aggressiveness and keep building your lead.
And it's goals like that, which is why, like, individual skill can sometimes make all the difference. Because I sometimes hear some people, like, talking about Rocket League. It's like, hey, if I just like have the basics if I'm just in the right position. Can I do well? Yeah, in theory you could, but when you have all these, like when you have these extra skills, all this solid mechanics coming out from like your individual plays, it lets you make plays where you should not be able to make plays. Like Kamal takes that thing from halfway all the way up in the air and just dunks it in there himself. Just goes to show how absolutely nuts he is alongside the rest of the players here on the St. Clair squad. So in the lead, looking good with a few minutes left to go.
It's just like people saying, you know, like if I had 100 pitches from an MLB pitcher, I could probably hit one, right? Like that's exactly the same thing in Rocket League, right? You know, there's the odd chance for a goal just because of, you know, pure luck, you know, and basic skills needed. But at the end of the day, like to compete at this level, to compete at the top of PlayVS, you have to have those mechanics down pat, or else you will not have a successful season. All three of the players here on the Saints and all of these players on Purdue all have those skills. And you know, Purdue, a very talent-filled Rocket League school, as this is their B team fighting for a playoff spot right now. Absolutely phenomenal stuff there from them. But yeah, like just as we were talking about it, I mean, it's really comes down to these players' mechanics.
That's one of the beautiful things, the fact that this Purdue University squad has that A team, so that the A team and B team just constantly practice each other. And the A team is things like top 25, so without question, it's a very, very solid school to go up against. And I'm sure they would absolutely love to have two representatives in the playoffs. That looks very, very strong for Purdue University. However, attacking opportunity here for St. Clair Endeavor. Nice little slowdown attempt, but Marcado is just going to send him away from the crease. He's not going to let that one happen. The center does happen, but there's Pickle Shooter going to just at least bring us to the side. Nice little bounce from Kamal. Can he finish it? No, he's not. Ineffable.
So
in position. Rebound. Endeavor takes the goal.
Rebounds. That was his second rebound goal. Huge stuff there from Endeavor. And you know what? Playing off these rebounds is such a huge advantage. Like I was saying, goalie gets caught off guard. Look at that. Wide open net. Ineffable is out from saving that previous shot. And it just makes things beautifully set up for the Saints. Going to result in a 3-1 lead right now here in this matchup. And it really makes these a little bit more struggleful for Purdue. But just as we were talking about Purdue and having a couple teams, you know, having maybe two representatives in playoffs, there's going to be two Saints Rocket League rosters next year. So I'm pretty thrilled about that to get things going.
It is definitely going to be nuts. I cannot wait for, I believe, CRL Summer. We don't even have to wait till September, I think, to see those teams in action. So definitely going to be looking forward to the future. But that being said, we'll still see plenty of these players that we see even here on this team. Maybe even with some new teammates for the next year. Maybe mix them up a little bit. It's all dependent on what Coach Mike thinks will fit. We'll have to see. But that being said, that's all about the future. We still have this game here in front of us. Saints with a 2-goal lead. Solid. Have a little bit of extra insurance, but this is still completely winnable here for Purdue.
Kamal is going for huge plays, and I love to see it because he's been reaping the benefits already. Whether it has been a goal or not, either way, he's been setting up players nicely. Garashi with a great demo there. Gonna put the 3-on-2 for the Saints. Not gonna go as the save comes through from Pickle Shooter, but now the Saints gonna try to keep up that offense. Kamal keeps it in bound. Garashi with a little bounce will not go. And now here we go. Ball bouncing around towards midfield. Ineffable looking for to make a play, but Endeavor catches that player off guard and sends it low.
That was actually a 6 setup there from the side of Purdue, but not going to quite finish it off. Still in the St. Clair zone, however. 10 seconds left to go. As long as Saints can kill off just a little bit more time, this one should be curtains. But a nice little one-timer here from Kamal, getting his second one of the game just to finish this off. Tic-tac-toe and back to Kamal. And successfully finishing that one off. That's the extra nail in the coffin St. Clair needs to finish off this first game.
Yeah, and you know what? Garashi, you know, like we were saying, Mr. Clutch, he only comes out when he needs to. Right now he's playing very good, making plays, playing the defense, playing as that kind of middleman per se, right? Where, you know, you just got to continue to see that play style from him as it's been paying off this game. And the Saints take the first one dominantly in a 4-1 game over Purdue B. And that really is going to set the tone here for the series. Going to really help the Saints' momentum. You know, we were talking about this so much before on how Purdue is based off so much on momentum as they either have a really dominant win or a really dominant loss. I mean, I'm just so excited to see how things go here throughout this, you know. It's going to be very interesting. And, I mean, if the Saints find this next game, I think it's going to make things very difficult for Purdue to try to come back.
Absolutely. We've seen even in the, it would have been the NECC playoffs we saw last week, whenever the Saints get put into a position where they have match point against them, it's like a switch just flips and they go absolutely nuts, able to bring it back most of the time. That being said, though, when they're in the lead, majority of the time, they do not squander it. So in regards to Purdue, they definitely have quite the fight ahead of them. And we'll see if they can start something up here in game number 2 as we get underway.
Yeah, and just as you're talking about that, out of these best-of-5 series, I would usually say their Saints' worst games out of those best-of-5s are going to be the first 2 always. And that's really worrisome. But to see the Saints pull it off here, and Kamal dribbles it over the goalie, sends that one in, and that's going to be SCC taking the lead, 1-0, only 13 seconds here in this matchup. We are in for a banger tonight here, Danners. Things are off to a great start here for the Saints. And I mean, to be completely honest, just as we were talking about that, right? I mean, it was an absolutely phenomenal thing because the Saints' worst 2 games, I should say, sorry, were gotta be their first 2, and they've started off on an absolute banger here. So they're going to look to kind of run with the pace of things here, set the tempo of this game, and it's paying off for them. If they can get an early 2-0 lead here, I think they will be seeing a playoff spot in their foreseeable future.
Absolutely. We've seen multiple times across most of the seasons, it does take them a couple of games just to kind of get warmed up. But then once Game 3 kind of rolls around, Game 4, all of a sudden they're just like really starting to hit their marks. That being said, though, because of the forfeit earlier, everybody's already online. So it's like, hey, let's get playing, let's get ready with practice. That was a nice little setup there from the Saints. Endeavor tries to find the shot, but Mercado coming in clutch, getting behind that, keeping it out of the net. And now turning this into a centering attempt here for Purdue.
Yeah, Kamal just trying to send that one in from long, will not go. That was Pickle Shooter is there for the save. And now it is on the attack for the Saints. Kamal looking to find another one, but that one will not connect. Garashi continuing to play that defensive position here right now, as it's been paying off so far so good for the Saints. Garashi making big plays there on that midfield defense position. Now, let's see what they can do here as Purdue is on the attack. Big defense here now for the Saints. Endeavor dribbling the ball towards midfield, and he has just completely put these opponents off guard. The side of Purdue looking kind of lost when Endeavor's sending that ball up solely through midfield.
Absolutely. We got to watch out, or the side of Purdue has to watch out for both Endeavor and Kamal. They've definitely shown that they have some, those, not dancing shoes, they have like slicks on or something with those, with these Rocket League cars, because they are absolutely able to drive around everybody. And then one thing that's also neat is Garashi. He's the no silliness kind of player. He's like the defenseman on the blue line, ready with the hard slap shot, just ready to take the shot when necessary. As he's going to find not exactly that, but he finds his opportunity to maybe prove me wrong a little bit. Squeaking past the defenders, Ineffable not going to find the right contact. He gets it off the wall, and he does get past Pickle Shooter and Mercado as well, and puts it right on in. Eat my words. Nice lead on Garashi.
Yeah, very good from Garashi. That's going to put him on the board here in this series. So now, all the Saints have found the back of the net. Let's see if the momentum continues. 2-goal lead. Going to provide them a nice cushion. Kamal tries to go huge with Ineffable there for the save. A little bit wide from the shot from, I think that was Garashi or Endeavor. But, I mean, overall here now, Saints continuing to get this one on the offense. Endeavor just setting it to the corner. They're going to gather some boost, and they're going to try to make another play. I like the reset there from the Saints. Oh, my God, Kamal going for that flip reset. Mercado going to get the best of it, so it will not go
open
in.
Net.
But this is a wide open net, and Endeavor is going to take advantage of it. That's going to be the Saints with a 3-0 lead, and it is going to look difficult here now for Purdue to try to send this one back.
This is just rough defensive play coming out here from Purdue. It's oftentimes either a bit of an overcommit on the first save, or Mercado or somebody does make that first save, but then the rebound is just completely unattended to. And that's when you need like somebody additional on defense to come help you out here. And we might start seeing a little bit of feistiness coming out of both sides here, especially from the Purdue side of things, because they are not going to have any more of this this rush here from St. Clair.
One thing I do want to talk about is that I don't know if it's as much Purdue's defense compared to, maybe St. Clair's offense just looking amazing right now. And also the fact that Purdue just can't get the ball out of their zone. Like, yeah, that has something to do with defense. And there's Garashi going for the blow-up. Yeah, that's payback because he got blown up just a couple minutes ago. But yeah, just as I was talking about that, the big thing here is Purdue able to get this ball out of their zone. They need to be able to take it out. Mercado doing exactly that. Nitro Lady, he saved his own shot. He saved his own shot, and Pickle Shooter's like, don't worry, I got your rebound. And he puts that one in. Purdue going to find the goal.
What this was calculated. That was goaltender interference at its finest there. He kind of made his own save, but that ended up kind of inadvertently hitting away the defender from St. Clair and centering it. So is Purdue going to get themselves on the board, keep this even, 2-goal game with 1:30 left to go. If they can keep this ball out of their own net, this is still extremely doable. A little bit of a double commit here for St. Clair, going to possibly turn this around, and now Saints have to defend fast.
Yeah, and this is exactly what I wanted to see from Purdue, though. A more aggressive play style. Like, yes, defense is important, but when you see the Saints win 4-1 there in that first game, I'd be kind of more worried about getting some more goals on the board. If you're ever losing a game, you should at least try to get that more than that 1-goal marker, right? Because, I mean, Rocket League, yes, it's only 5 minutes long, but scoring isn't too difficult, but that's a wide-open net. And there's 3-2 game. Mercado gonna find one now. Purdue only trailing by 1, Danners. Saints are in a little bit of a hot water situation here now. Gonna have to play intense defense.
That was actually sick there from Mercado. The perfect pass interception. That was kind of being lobbed up there from Endeavor. He made the pass over to Kamal, but it was like a pop fly ball. It just took forever to get to its target. Mercado beats Kamal to the punch and just throws like just a crawler into the net. Bring this within 1. 45 seconds left to go. It's right back into the St. Clair zone. Can Purdue keep this there? Otherwise, it could be curtains for game 2. Big shot, but going to get pushed aside.
Huge save, but pickle shooter Kamal has had a ton of clutch saves in this whole season. You like to see them continuing to come out. We've made it halfway through. I call this a penalty kill. Garashi, nice little tap on the save. Mercado, look at it, back in. Kamal, he can't get there. Mercado is going to beat Mr. Clutch today as he finds himself 2 when Purdue was trailing 3-1. This is going to put things out of 3-3 situation. We could very well see it overtime here now, Danners. This is when the Saints need to turn up and get in their best form.
Honestly, big props there to Pickle Shooter on the side of Purdue. He not only was the one getting the assist on that, but he finds himself the punt as well, and he's going to possibly find himself the game winner here as he just gets the centered attempt from Neffable right off the wall, pushes it down. Hey, buddy, there you are. Finish it off. Nobody home. It's 4-3 in Purdue's favor.
Yeah, and I mean, that goal looked very nice, and it was very quick. That's exactly what they needed. So, I mean, if you're Purdue or St. Clair there, you're kind of just banking on an OT a little bit. But Pickle Shooter says, no, not today. We're going to find this goal, and we're going to find this goal now. Now, this ball sitting in Saints territory, they're struggling to find an offensive play. You see Kamal and Endeavor going on the attack here now, but everybody on Purdue just sitting in the net, just bouncing this off the ground. Danners, I'm going to lose it. Danners, I am going to lose it, man.
This is karma from last week. Last week we had ourselves a win.
Opposite, and that saved us.
And it saved us, and we get it bit back at us right on the goal line.
Look at that.
Holy moly!
I was literally just standing up, man. Oh my gosh, it's just so I wish that if it was if in the goal line the clock didn't stop, right? Like it was all right, the clock doesn't stop if the ball's in the air or on the goal line. That's the only thing. But it does end up on the goal line, and that's gonna be a tie series. The Saints were up 3-0 in that one, or 3-1.
It was 3-1 at one point, yeah.
Yeah, 3-1.
I think you're right.
Yeah, it was 3-0. And so for the Saints to really just not be able to close that one out, that's a little bit of tough balance, and it could ruin things momentum-wise for them. But let's see if they can come back feistier than ever.
We have a series on our hand there. Purdue definitely maybe the ones taking the Saints kind of spot where maybe game 1 isn't necessarily their favorite, but give them a round to kind of warm up. And now they're the ones making the plays. They're finding the shots. Again, Purdue's Pickle Shooter finds himself in a bit more of an enforcer role as well, pushing the goalies aside and making the plays happen. However, brand new game, clean slate here. Saints are on the attack, and they're going to start off nicely. It's going to be Endeavor from, or Garashi from Endeavor.
Yeah, Garashi from Endeavor, not the other way around. Endeavor, nice setup there. I really like these setups from the side of the Saints. I find that they always use above the net as a kind of like a backboard in basketball, right?
Exactly.
And they really make plays off of it, and it really gets the goalie kind of off-centered. It really helps them out, and I like to see those plays always come through for the Saints. I love bar down shots in Rocket League, but they're so difficult.
It's definitely hard to respond to. This one not going to jump in St. Clair's favor, going to kind of bounce away. And then one more little centering attempt there from Kamal is going to get pushed aside by Mercado. Of course, Purdue now down one nice and quick. Still plenty of time, however, and we've seen the kind of comebacks they've made. Game 2 was definitely a tough one for them, but they still managed to get the win. Kamal, however, he's going to score. Finds himself the second goal for St. Clair. First one of this game. He takes this all the way to the crease, snaps one ankle, and then just puts it past Neffable into the goal. Beautifully done there. St. Clair 2-0.
You can't ask for a better goal than that there, Danners. That was, like you just said, beautifully done. And Kamal just, like, he has done that countless times in this series alone, where he has taken the ball from coast to coast. Like, he has just completely taken it and ran with it. Garashi looking to find another shot, and that doesn't go, but the rebounds are there from the Saints, just unable to take advantage of it. And now you're going to see Garashi kind of float back, send that into the corner, and it's going to result in the Saints keeping their 2-0 lead here. Now, the big thing I got to see from the Saints is them to keep this lead in their favor, right? You know, we saw last minute kind of struggles there from the Saints, you know, closing things out. Let's hope that they can fix that up in this one.
That was a close attempt there with Kamal getting demoed off like that. The 2-on-3 attempt from Purdue was definitely threatening, but unfortunately could not find the finishing blow. Did get pushed aside here. So now ball's kind of floating in center spot. Garashi tries to make a play. Neffable, however, good little steal. Takes the shot, but Kamal is there in the background. Centered though, huge pass, and Neffable going to finish the job. We have a 2-1 game.
Yeah, huge stuff there from the Saints. I mean from Purdue. But yeah, Purdue really doing a great job there. You know, great setup, like you were saying. You were commentating out that whole thing, and it was a beautiful goal. And that's exactly what Purdue needed to really close in the gap between these two teams here now, right? The Saints up 2-1, or sorry, they were up 2-0. Purdue bring things back now 2-1, but Kamal wanting to find another one immediately. He sends that right in top right corner, bounces off at the backboard a little bit, but Endeavor there. It's not necessarily a rebound, I would say, but it's pretty close to it, Danners. And that's what's so huge with these Saints. Playing off of these rebounds, playing off of these close net bounces, always having a player ready.
That might have been the sickest pass I've seen all season from pretty much any of the teams there. I believe that was a flip reset stuck in there just to get that extra little push towards the center. But speaking of a ball getting centered here, Neffable had himself the opportunity, but a huge save from Kamal, and it's going to allow Endeavor to take this upstream. Can he manage to find a passing opportunity? Not this time by, but from Kamal to Endeavor's shot, going to be going wide. Kamal's getting aggressive, takes care of Pickle Shooter. Garashi going to center this again. Mercado gets a piece of it, however, and they're going to take control for just a second. Saints had a good little bit of pressure there for just a moment, but now it's back in their zone. It's looking scary.
Yeah, and you know what? Like, the Saints have just been kind of like lucky, I would have to say, because this ball has been bouncing around the outside of their net quite often, and for that ball not to trickle in at least one of these times is pretty fortunate there for the Saints. So, good stuff there from them. However, one thing I do also want to touch on is the dynamic duo right now from Endeavor and Kamal. You know, Garashi, he made a great solo play right there, but I'm just going to continue on my subject. Like, Endeavor and Kamal, I don't know if it's just like if it's just me tonight, but I'm really seeing a lot of chemistry between the two tonight.
It definitely helps when you have the midfielder and the forward, so to speak, kind of on the same wavelength. And it's also nice to see the player labeled as the defenseman of sorts, for that being Garashi, finding his time to shine. Basically just blue lining it, similar to the analogy I made earlier. Goes up to the skies, finishes it off. Nice little finishing blow to put a little bit of extra pressure here onto Purdue. Down by 3. I mean, we've seen them do this before, but this is still a very rough spot to be in with about 1:40 left on the clock. It is in the St. Clair zone, but they're not going to be able to get a whole heck of a ton left until Pickle Shooter finds himself that opportunity. He's been more of the playmaker, not necessarily the shooter, but still finding his chance nonetheless.
Yeah, so going to be the Saints now looking to get the ball out of their zone and take this onto the offensive side of things. But Mercado there to say no, not happening. And Neffable going to be playing that blue line like we were talking about a second ago. And he is going to try to keep that in. However, this ball is going to bounce right into the side of Purdue, and the Saints looking to make a play here now, but Mercado going to be taking this from coast to coast. Kamal playing the defense. The Saints are doing a great job of really keeping this ball kind of towards midfield, out of their net, kind of like no shots allowed for Purdue, basically. And that's huge for the Saints, really beneficial to their scoreline.
Yeah, the ball may have been kind of stuck in the St. Clair zone for at least a little bit, but there's never been a shot that's been extremely threatening of sorts. Kind of been kept to the sides, kept to the corners, and just been able to kind of kill some time here. Like all these aerials, we see Endeavor with a nice little pass off the crossbar. Nice attempt there from Garashi. Can Kamal find a finishing blow? He's going to hit the post, and Mercado is finally going to push that aside. But all of these extra shots, all this extra hang time, all this air is just time killed off the clock, and it's going to be Endeavor, who almost had a chance for himself. Hits the crossbar yet again. Shot on target. Mercado going to make the nice save, though. He's been absolutely killing it there in the goaltending position. But unfortunately, there's just been too many shots to try and deal with here. With 10 seconds left, Game 3 is looking like it's all St. Clair. Pickle Shooter going to get themselves on the board, though. So it does leave a little bit of unlikely wiggle room.
Yeah, Pickle did a great job of getting himself on the border there. And just as you were talking about, so many shots on net from the Saints that it just couldn't. It's not as much, you know, maybe the shots on net, like Saints could have scored. It's more or less the Saints were just on the offense, and that's just running down the clock. Like, the clock is the big thing right here for Purdue, as you only see 4 seconds remaining, and the Saints are all on the offense still. This is just kind of not possible for Purdue anymore. You're going to see the ball touch the ground there. You see some GGs in the chat go down. St. Clair and Purdue now are 2-1 in favor of St. Clair, and, I mean, this is exactly the position St. Clair wants to be in, but to be completely honest, I mean, St. Clair was up 4-1 in that game number 2, and if they were able to close things out here, we'd be all set and done 2-3-0s for the night.
Absolutely, and I'm just like the shot difference in this game alone was absolutely nuts. With the Saints, they had 14 shots that game. Meanwhile, the side of Purdue had about 7. So, like, exactly double the shots means double the saves, the amount of times that you're getting put out of position, double that as well. Mercado could be the best goaltender in the world at always stopping the first shot, but there's always the rebound you have to worry about. It's just not been exactly working out for him here today. He's trying his damnedest, but he's got to. Him and the rest of the Purdue squad need to pull it through here in Game 4. Otherwise, Saints are going 2-0 on the day.
Yeah, which would, I mean, put them in a playoff spot. We were talking about that, but if you guys are new here, this is a make-or-break game. Last game of the regular season, and the winner of this is most likely going to be getting a playoff spot. So it's going to be fairly interesting to see how things play out, but so far so good for the Saints as they lead the series 2-1, but there is still some work to do, Danners. They still got to find that last one and close things out here. We got a clean slate scoreline 0-0, and it is going to be all Saints on the offense right now. Endeavor trying to keep that in the zone, but that is Marsado taking it out. Endeavor kind of floating that above his net. Kamal comes off the wall ride and does a great job of putting that back in the Purdue territory.
Kamal taking it to the skies. Pickle Shooter going to push this one aside, however. Good save in that regard. Ineffable going to be taking it to the skies himself. Has Garashi there to try and deal with. Garashi does make the initial save, but Pickle Shooter is there continuing to add interference. Mercado tries to make the shot himself. Does collide with Endeavor, however. Garashi going to try and chase Ineffable down. Not going to go in his favor. Kamal to the sky is going to try and put off the backboard. He is going to be interfered with as well. Back to Endeavor in the corner. However, Pickle Shooter going to push this aside. Bit of a ping-pong match to kind of start this one off. Back and forth, but nobody really getting a good opportunity.
Yeah, you know what? Garashi for Defensive Player of the Week. I'll tell you that right now because he has been doing phenomenal stuff playing that defense position while still making offensive plays. You will see Kamal fall back on the defense a little bit here now. Just going to send that right back into Purdue territory. Going to be those boys trying to make a little bit of an offensive play here. Now Kamal, though, will get demoed, making things a little more difficult. But Endeavor, I didn't even see him. He just kind of came out of my screen like nowhere. Endeavor comes flying by, gets a shot on the net, but doesn't go. Now you see the Saints and Purdue 0-0, and I feel like this is kind of like one of the longest streaks we've had without a goal. Endeavor will find it though. I eat my words. You know, Dan, it's the Castler curse. You know, oh yeah, we haven't had a goal in 2 minutes. It's like the longest time we haven't had a goal. Endeavor, oh don't worry, I got you guys.
Absolutely unfortunate there for Purdue, but perfect on Endeavor for the side of St. Clair to finish that one off. Mercado jumped to try to make the save, but did not have the proper impact. That ball just went straight up inadvertently, basically just teeing up Endeavor. Just knocked that right into the back of the net. Going to give them the lead here with 3 minutes left to go. Purdue's play versus playoff hopes within a couple minutes of being squandered unless they can get themselves back on the board here. And it's going to be all up to these guys to try and make it happen. But right now, Saints back in the offensive zone. Centering attempts going to be pushed aside by Ineffable. Garashi, however, slow bounce off the backboard. Can he finish it off? Mercado going to say no. No opportunity this time by. But now Kamal's got it. Passing it up to Endeavor. One more time off the backboard. Ineffable is going to control this one.
Yeah, you know what? Mercado has been doing a very good job of really stopping these backward plays. You know, he's read that from the Saints in the first couple of games, and now we see Mercado actually going huge here, stopping those backward plays from coming in, and allowing the Saints to really, you know, stop their offensive abilities. And I think it's going to make things a lot more difficult now for the Saints to score.
Okay, backdrop there, the pickle shooter. I like the attempts from the side of Purdue. However, it's going to be Garashi. Once again, you're saying defensive player powerhouse, and that is exactly what he's doing, and it sets up Kamal to finish the job for himself. Has himself another coast-to-coast, and he gets past Neffable, finishing it off to give the Saints a 2-0 lead.
Yeah, amazing stuff there from the Saints. And that's a huge goal, right? Because at that time, we were on a 1-goal differential. All Purdue had to do was find one, and they were going to be at least able to force an OT. So now, with 2 minutes on the clock, they got to find 2 goals. That's a lot more work, and especially even more as that ball trickles in from Kamal. I tell you, that ball was on the goal line for like 10 seconds, and it does eventually make it through. You see it trickle, 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 trickle. Kamal, bang, sends it in. Purdue now trailing 3-0. I just said it's going to be a big challenge for them. Going to be even more of a challenge here now, Danners.
There comes a point where the pressure gets put onto you, and do you crack or do you persevere? Do you rise to the occasion? And it looks like to me, Purdue didn't just crack, but they just straight up shattered here in game number 4. Unfortunate plays happening here. A 6 shot from Garashi, do not get me wrong, but these are not standard, but these are plays that we've seen Mercado. He's made those saves today. We've seen Pickle Shooter and whatnot make those saves. This entire Purdue squad were always in position for those kind of things, and they're somehow slipping by, and I don't think the Saints are done just yet. They want the finishing blow here to be like the 5-0 mark. Garashi from the sweet spot, basically. Gonna take the shot, going to get stopped eventually, though. Back in the St. Clair zone, but with 1:20 left, it's looking solid here for St. Clair. Purdue needs a miracle to get themselves back in this one.
Yeah, you know, at this point, Pickle Shooter, you will find himself a goal, but like I've constantly repeated, Purdue, still tons of work to do, right? Only, this is, 77 seconds on the clock? Not a lot of time to really make a play for the side of Purdue. And, I mean, they got to find 3 goals in then. Where the Saints, they can just as easily find a goal. All you got to do here as the Saints is run this clock. Get some demos, push some cars out of the way, limit their opportunities to score, and just keep your offensive going. You know, whether maybe less, you know, going for these aggressive shots, but more or less kind of like dump the ball, you know? And that's what I'd really like to see here from the Saints. Only 1 minute now on the clock. The time has been ticking, and now it is going to be Purdue, still trailing by 3.
Absolutely. Mercado's going to try and make something happen here, but we need basically 3 goals to tie this up within 45 seconds. Definitely not unheard of. This could be a start of something, though. Pickle Shooter from Neffable to get this within 2 with 45 seconds left. Unfortunately there, Garashi got a piece of it, but Neffable, beautiful job getting that second touch. End up being the passing play to Pickle Shooter as well. So we still have ourselves a game.
And you know what? Purdue actually is going huge here. Pickle Shooter, I don't even want to try it. Yeah, so we actually just see Pickle Shooter going huge, right? And I mean, that's exactly what we like to see. He's been very clutch, even in game 1. I think that was game 1 or no, game 2, where he really put themselves, Purdue, into that winning position, and it's going to really help them out close out there. So Pickle Shooter looking to pull that off again, but time is really becoming of the essence. Yes, this ball is floating above the safe net, and Neffable just finds a flick. Danners, I'm a little worried now. There isn't a lot of time. The Saints just got to play hardcore defense, but that is a little worrisome. Garashi there makes a save. No defense around for the Saints off that rebound. Going to result in Purdue finding yet another one. Looking a little bit worrisome here. I would not be surprised if we do see an overtime, because Purdue has been so clutch here in these last moments.
Question marks were pinging in my head after that one, but it was just good reaction time from Neffable. One more breakout opportunity. This could be the make or breaker. Pickle Shooter, he's looking to juke it. Can he do it? He ties it up 4-4 with 4 seconds left on a huge individual effort.
Yeah, like I literally said, that's why I said at the 17-second mark, I was like, this game is not over. This game has a plenty way to go. 17 seconds in Rocket League can make a big, big difference, and this is exactly what we're seeing right here. Still a 2-1 game, most likely going to go to OT unless we can see a really early goal. Being in the corner doesn't really look like we will, but OT kind of incoming. Like, Danners, this is going to be intense. Saints win this, they can close things out. Saints lose this, we're heading to map 5 to decide who's going to make playoffs, who's not.
That was definitely a close scenario right off the face-off. Pickle Shooter was forced to make himself available nice and quick. Awkward save here. Grashi is going to stop it, though. Puts into the corner. Neffable still has it, though. The rest of his team, though, kind of struggling for boost. They're going to go off into the defensive position. Over to Mercado. Over to Pickle Shooter. Into the corner of the Saints zone. Tries to make the centering pass. It is going to get there. Grashi, though, going to push it aside once again. Neffable looks to drop it for center, but it's going to be a Believe Endeavor up there. It's going to push this aside. Stuck in the Purdue zone, kind of in the center actually, as we hit the 30-second mark here in this overtime.
Yeah, you know what I find crazy? Purdue actually tied up this game, and Endeavor blocked the opponent there, and it almost went in. Come on! He's gonna find it! Your St. Clair Saints will be heading to play versus Rock League playoffs, everybody. And that is a phenomenal game. Saints, they're going to let Purdue crawl back a little bit, make this one 4-4. Saints close it out, though. 5-4 win, 3-1 series win, and your Saints will be going to play versus playoffs.
Oh my goodness, they gave us a show at the end there, making our hearts race ever so slightly, but in the end they do secure the 3-1 victory, putting them in the best case possible, more than likely, into these play versus playoffs. Beautifully done there from St. Clair, but honestly though, huge plays from Purdue. Massive props to that squad, and huge plays on Pickle Shooter for that very final play to even bring that to an overtime to begin with. So many players I see crack, and like I even called it out when it was like 4-1 at that point. I was saying like Purdue's done. They're cracked. They're shook. I love being wrong. They definitely made it nice and close there for us, but nonetheless, the hometown squad getting the dub today.
You know, it was Purdue a minute and 18 seconds left in that matchup. Purdue was down 4-0 still. At a minute 18. So to think about things there, put things in reference, like they scored 4 goals in a minute and 17 seconds, and Pickle Shooter was 3 of them. Pickle Shooter got himself a hat trick in a minute and 17 seconds to tie up the game and give Purdue a chance, you know? And that's all you can really ask from the guy. Purdue gave a very good effort. You can tell they gave it their all. They get 1 goal there. They're not out of this thing, right? Like you said, this is kind of over. 4-0. But, I mean, overall, like, this is just a phenomenal game. Your Saints looking like they will be heading to playoffs. And, I mean, just congrats to those boys. They have been absolutely amazing throughout this whole season. They had a few hiccups, especially last week with those 2 losses. But tonight, with a 3-0 and a 3-1, you cannot ask for a better storyline.
Absolutely. I was just about to say, I think that this was all just calculated so that they can give me the best possible storyline to have this broadcast, and then the next broadcast is that the playoffs do end up working out here for us, which in theory, I'm just taking a look at my calendar real quick. It is scheduled for play versus playoffs, going to be the weekend of May 8th and 9th. So still got a couple weeks to figure it out, everything. The rest of the standings and like the rescheduled matches need to play out first to kind of see what the what the final situation, the final standings do end up looking like. Of course, to make sure that you get on top of, get the most up-to-date news, be sure to follow us on our Saints Gaming CA Twitter account as well as our Twitch here. That way, whenever we get the confirmation that, yes, we're in playoffs for sure, because I keep saying if, because I'm just worried still about some other records plus tiebreakers. That being said, I think we got it, but I don't want to say for sure yes.
Be completely honest, like I kind of just don't see a world where we don't have it. Right now, before all updates are complete, our final record is 9-5 with a 32-18 game record. We're currently sitting in the 27th seed after that being updated, so we can afford to drop 5 spots. But I mean, not much more than that. And to be completely honest, there is it really does look like, honestly, we should have it here. Looking like we could lose it, but it looks like we're in fairly good position, right? 27th. If we do make playoffs, we're probably going to be a 29, 30, 31, 32 seed. One of those 4.
And I just also want to then also give out a big special thank you to the University of Florida for gift wrapping us a match by not showing up to your match tonight. Big thank you there, because that definitely made things nice and easy for our playoff run. But then Purdue, they made us work. They made us work for it, that's for sure. Holy smokes, what a night.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, Purdue, it's kind of like reminds me of our last series on the doubleheader last week, where we had that 3-0 from, I forget what school it was, but we got 3-0'd, right? But I mean, right after we get 3-0'd, not right after. All the games were within like a goal or overtime. So I can really represent to what Purdue did tonight, where they either forced an overtime, and they had a lot of good opportunities. It was a very close matchup, and like you were just saying, Purdue made the Saints work. And that's what we like to see. Me and Danners, we like to hop on here. We don't like to constantly sit here and see blowouts. Yes, we do want the Saints to win. Yes, we are unbiased, but at the end of the day, right, you gotta love to see the Saints making playoffs, and you gotta see a good game. Like that's one of the main things here. It's way more entertaining for me to be on my feet screaming about like crazy stuff to happen with a 4-0 comeback after a minute and 17 seconds in the game. I mean, it's just unreal. Rocket League is an unreal game. I mean, I just kind of learned my lesson that you can never count a team out.
Absolutely. If my years of watching esports or even like something like F1, if it has taught me anything, is that when you see the same person win over and over again, you kind of start to tune out, which is why I always love to see super close matches, regardless, even if it's against us. I want to see these other teams, especially like new squads, new schools coming up, like really either challenge our Saints, or if it's not a Saints match, just constantly going back and forth with each other, because just with everybody leveling up together, it just makes things so much more interesting. So whether it be collegiate or scholastic esports in general, it's just so good to see. And I'm happy these past couple matches have been very, very pleasing, to say the least, in regards to entertainment.
Yeah, well, that is going to call us for the play versus regular season. But, I mean, to be honest, it was a great one. Like, this Rocket League squad has showed us so many highlight moments throughout this whole season. You absolutely love to see it. We'd like to thank all you guys, viewers, coming out here and tuning into this matchup. We'd love to see you guys all coming in here, supporting the squad, supporting the stream. It's a very nice for me and Danners to kind of look over and see, yeah, like we got some people really cheering us on. Maybe not us particularly, just sitting here on the mics, but cheering on the squad, right? And we do love to see it. So very appreciative of all you. And we are also very appreciative of our sponsors, because we would not be able to put on this production without them. So thank you to the St. Clair College Alumni Association, PC Outlet, the Zekelman School of Business and Information Technology, St. Clair College, Tim Hortons, and the St. Clair SRC. Like I was saying, would not be able to put on this production without them. Huge, huge help. Thank you guys so much for that. And finally, I think you guys know what I'm gonna say if you're a regular here in the Saints broadcast.
Does it have anything to do with that shirt that you're wearing?
If you want to get yourself some nice Saints, I'm going to the wrong way. If you want to get yourself some nice Saints apparel, look at this. You got my name on the back and everything.
Whoop.
And no, it's all.
There we go.
Oh yeah. So we got the sponsors on there. Everything looks great. We got masks, we got jerseys, we got sweaters, we got jackets, we got t-shirts, we got what you can ask for. Guys, that is all going to be at acquire.ca/Saints. You guys can get your merch there. It is looking phenomenal, feels comfortable, and I could not ask for better quality. So very good stuff there from Acquire. Huge thank you to them as well for supplying all of our merchandise. And it looks great, like I was saying. If you guys want to get some, I mean, go ahead, acquire.ca/Saints. But now, Danners, we're not really too aware of what our schedule is going to be like in these upcoming weeks. We really don't have a whole lot on still because the semester's over. But we got some playoff games. We got Play versus Fortnite. We got Play versus Rock League, and we got a little bit of COD. So,
yeah.
And honestly, but most of that is just going to be streamed on channels that are the leagues, right?
Yeah, we're trying to figure that out right now. Actually, sorry to cut you off, but yeah, because that's right now. Like, I'm being told that for Play versus Fortnite solos, like individual runs, that'll be on the 3rd and the 4th of May. But then, of course, we have on that in theory could be on our channel, that could be on the Play versus channel. Either way, make sure that you have us followed anyway, because that's scheduled for 5 o'clock. Whether it's on our channel or not, if you go to our channel, I'll make sure that you're either at the right place or you're redirected to the right place. And then on the 8th, it's showing, I mentioned Call of Duty, the Activision Blizzard crossover with CCL. That'll be happening on the College COD channel, not here. Play versus playoffs then for Rocket League start on the 8th and 9th. And then Play versus trios, in theory, should be, or Fortnite trios rather, in theory should be the finisher of our entire season, at least as of this moment. That is on the 10th and the 13th respectively. So the season slowly but surely winding down here. It's definitely been insane. I know you and I, for a little while there, we were going basically 7 nights a week, and It was definitely a super exciting time, but now we get to breathe a little bit in between broadcasts, eh?
Yeah, for sure. So, we were going almost every night, really getting out these broadcasts to you guys, and I cannot have more of a blast doing it. I love putting on these shows for you guys. I know Danners does as well. We love putting on this content for you guys. We love showing you guys the St. Clair rosters. But guys, I mean, for now, I don't know exactly when we're going to see you again. I know we don't really have a perfect idea. Danners just gave a little bit of a rundown, but hopefully we do see you guys again here on the stream shortly. But if we don't, my name is Jackson Deprived Brown, joined alongside Dan, Mr. Danners Banners, everyone. And this was Play versus Rocket League regular season, finishing this thing up. And just like that, we are going to be concluding this one for the night. But we'll be back with you guys hopefully shortly.